well, just kind of get some blood going, some activation.
It's so interesting that, like, because obviously you bench what, twice a week?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, I mean, I bench 6 days a week. It's just really interesting how, like, different it is in terms of, like, frequency demands based on your size. So for, like, example, today, Jesus is taking 405 pounds probably for his last bench single. He competes Friday. I'm taking 451 today. I compete Thursday. And he benches 70, 80 pounds more than I do. The reason for this difference is that I bench 6 days a week, and my 6th day of the week is my strongest day, and that's also on Thursday. So I'm essentially following like the same structure that I would in a normal training week, whereas with Jesus, he's only benching twice a week normally. So the week of, he's not really doing anything crazy because his demands are completely different than mine. So as we just mentioned, today I'm just taking my opener on bench press. It'll be my first attempt. Jesus is taking less than that. But in reality, I think a lot of people think that like powerlifting training is mostly this. In reality, this is like us tapering down for the competition. Most of powerlifting, like if you look at all the top powerlifters on the raw side of powerlifting, it's pretty much competition specific bodybuilding. Like you are training the competition movements through a ton of different rep ranges. So like the days of training, hitting a heavy squat single, like a heavy deadlift double, whatever, like that's gone. That's not the most effective way to get stronger for most people. Most of the time we're training like bodybuilders just with the competition movements preceding any sort of accessory movements. I mean, Jesus, even you as like super heavy, you're doing sets of 8 on squat. Like you're doing sets of 7, sets of 8 on deadlift. You're getting essentially bodybuilding rep ranges for a big portion of the year on your competition movements. That helps build the base, and then we segue to our accessory work afterward. It's only really when we transition closer to meet that things get more specific. We start to hit more heavy singles or lower rep sets. But overall, I mean, like you look at most of the top guys in powerlifting, and they all look jacked. Right? Like they all look jacked. They're all super strong. And even if you are not necessarily interested in competing in bodybuilding, there's a lot of research to suggest that hypertrophy actually like depends pretty heavily on strength. Like if you were just consistently just like training super light, doing bodybuilding stuff, just crushing yourself with volume, you'd probably be better off taking a designated period to build strength. So now it's like, if I could do sets of 8 with 300 pounds on bench, maybe I go through a consistent strength block and I up my bench press 30 pounds, and now like I can do more work on my bodybuilding stuff, which is my main goal ultimately, to get bigger from a bodybuilding.
I mean, I guess in a way, it's almost like addressing those weaknesses, because powerlifting isn't about having the biggest squat, it's not about having the biggest bench, it's not about having the biggest deadlift. It's about who is the most well-rounded powerlifter person, who is the most well-rounded athlete. So, like, pretty much anybody in the top 5 in their weight class, like, if you look at their program, they're going to spend obviously a large portion refining their craft as far as like comp specificity, but as well, half of that workout they're going to spend doing sets of 15, sets of 12, and the other part of the gym where it's bodybuilding movements. I had surgery on this like 3-4 years ago, so I got a screw in here and I have very limited range of motion, like that's as far back as I can go. So I got to be very careful with my stack. Gotcha. And if there's any misalignment,
Okay, so all of us are at very different stages right now with our powerlifting journey. So for myself, one of the reasons why I'm lifting lighter, besides it's just that part of the cycle, is I also have some jumping goals, some weight loss goals, and you can work powerlifting in with a lot of general athleticism, since ultimately it does benefit you in many different domains. However, Sean and Jesus have totally different situations. So Jesus, we're going to go up against the reigning champion, Ray Williams, but he got COVID. Ray is the first man to squat 1,000 pounds raw and Jesus is one of the youngest men in America that squat over 900 pounds squat. So that changing of hands was just going to happen, and then right as it was about to happen, Ray got COVID. How does that feel mentally going into a meet like this?
Mentally, I guess just me personally, because I mean, like me and Ray did talk briefly. You know, like my condolences to him and his family. But I mean, as a competitor, like it is a little bit disappointing. And so like whenever I first came in, like I'm trying to find out like, okay, who are the top dogs? What are the world records? How do these guys stack up against pretty much everybody else? And like Ray was somebody who stood up from the very beginning. It is a little disappointing. It's just this championship, you know, if I win, God willing, it's gonna have like an asterisk on it just because head-to-heads matter. Like at the end of the day, 20 years from now, if Ray retires, like he's gonna retire undefeated without a single loss to his record, when this could have been his first one.
I was more bummed out for you than I was for Ray when I saw that he dropped out. At least this is like the year that you have the opportunity to like dethrone the guy.
But Sean, on the other hand, has a totally opposite situation. And he's totally different from us in that he has the most pressure since both him and his competition are completely ready right now with Russ.
Yeah, so I'm about 2 days out right now, so it's Tuesday, I compete Thursday morning. I compete in the 83 kilo weight class, which for those of you who want American numbers, it's 183 pounds body weight. I'll be competing against Russell Orkey, who is the 3-time national champion in my weight class. Unlike Jesus' situation, like we said, you know, we're both healthy, we're both here, both ready to compete. The story of the rivalry has been going on for a couple of years now. 2018 was like probably our closest year in terms of strength. And then now this year, it's really a toss-up. It's the strongest I've ever felt. It's the healthiest I've ever come into the Raw Nationals. I just have to make lifts. It's been 4 years now of us just, you know, pushing each other back and forth as the 1 and 2 spots in this weight class, and this year could be the year that, you know, that flips.
When I got into the sport, I compete still currently in the same weight class as Sean. And when I got into the sport, the best total at around the same body weight was around 1556, something like that, right? And now, what is you and Russ's both best total going into this?
So his best total coming into this is 833 kilos, which is about 1,835 to 1,840 pounds. My best is 1819. Yeah. So it's about what is that? You know, a 7 kilo difference, 8 kilo difference in total.
Yeah, so it really, the sport has totally leveled up to where at one point I won the junior division at the 183 pound weight class with like a 500 pound squat. And now everyone squats like 650 pounds. 4 or 5 sets, I'm ready to go.
Great last bench workout of the prep. I'll be competing on Thursday. Jonnie, it was great working out with you and getting to, you know, finally see one of your workouts for the first time in a while. It was great, you know, that you made the trip out here. I really appreciate Jack Factory, you know, taking the time to take care of all of us who are competing this week. Just thank Jack Factory for sponsoring us in general. This has been an awesome opportunity. If you want to check out, you know, Jack Factory, just go to jackfactory.com. You use code NORI. You can use code Jonnie if you're going to buy the cotton candy flavor pre-workout. If you're going to buy the newer pre-workout, you can use whatever it's Code NORI for the Pro Series. Yeah, and that's it.
And thanks for Jack Factory for helping grow the sport of powerlifting, most importantly.
Thank you guys so much for watching. See you.
I'm on top, see me, I'm on top.